Sandra Cherfrere, President, Democratic Women's Club of Greater Broward. My co-host.
Yes.
I'm a co-host of Racing the Racist. Narnike, what you got to start us off with?
Pierre-Grant, former candidate for school board at large seat in Broward County. And thank you so much for the rundown, Sandra, because we needed to know that, need to hear that. We know there's about 5 cities having races coming in March. As we've always pushed, these down ballot candidates, these middle election candidates are very, very important. They make decisions on your everyday life. So it's important that you stay engaged. So I'm glad that you gave us a little rundown. We're going to try to get the exact cities of what seats that are running, so you all can look at. The supervisor of election was on a radio over the weekend, stated that they've already received about 2,000 ballots back from people who mailed in their election. What is that called? Your election ballot.
Yeah, ballot.
Absolutely. So it's important that you stay engaged. These are the people who make local decisions for you on your behalf. So it's important that you know who you're putting in office. And so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about today the failed impeachment in the Senate. And, Sandra taught me some things. There was 3 impeachments in total in this country, right?
Yeah. 4 in total. It's just
4
3
in total,
people.
right? But 3 people. Yeah. Somebody got impeached twice. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk about how that relates into being civically engaged, right? Because, as we mentioned, the down ballot candidates, why is it important that you vote for every single election? And why is it important that we make it a point to put that on our agenda? Because it's very important. I mean, your vote is your superpower. So, and elected officials, by all intents and purposes, work for us. So it's important that we have that dialogue. There was one other thing we're going to talk about apart from the impeachment. What was that again? That was
the insurrection, the impeachment.
And then Bush.
45 ain't loyal. He's showing
45 ain't loyal. And then and I don't know if you got to see Uncle Joe last night on his town hall, but I did watch it. And I have a little bit of critique for Uncle Joe, but overall, Uncle Joe did a good job by doing I hope that is something that he will continue doing town halls in different cities in this country. I believe that this is something that's needed now in our country to kind of bring people back together. So if he's willing to do this, I think that's a great idea. But I do have some critiques, and but overall, he did a good job. So we'll talk about that first. So we'll go ahead and segue into Sandra giving us.
I'm taking notes because I'm sensitive. I don't need you talking about Joe. Like I'm sensitive.
Oh no, these are good. This is constructive criticism.
Okay.
And Uncle Joe will love it.
Hey, listen, we ain't.
Oh no, it's constructive criticism.
But at the end of the day, we got to keep them honest, and
yes.
And we have to make sure they do what they said they were going to do.
Absolutely. And I think some of the things, and one thing that I like that he pointed out, there was some miscommunication. And he said it. He's like, no, that was wrong. And that was our fault. There was a miscommunication. This is what I would like to see. What was reported was incorrect. So I like that he's starting off the trend like that. But I do have some great, constructive criticism for Uncle Joe. And we'll talk about that.
Right, so let's talk about who we rocking today, right? So we're going to have since it's just us and we don't have to worry about guests today, we're going to talk about our fashion. I am wearing Cori Bush's shirt. And you can go to her page.
Yes.
And, get one. I mean, it's a little pricey for a t-shirt, but I think it goes like towards her campaign or whatever it is, because we need to keep her in office because she keeps it 100. When she was talking about what happened, when she was explaining what she felt, how she felt at that insurrection, and I heard them people outside, and her warning to them is like, we're gonna be banging till the end. If they right? So I just had to rock that shirt today. So I was like, I saw that, I ordered it. So she was like, listen, ain't nobody scared.
Okay, where Cori from again?
I know what's good for y'all. Y'all not coming up in here because we banging till the end.
So where is Cori from? Cori's from?
She's from the Lou. She's from St. Louis, Missouri, y'all.
You better listen.
Don't get into it.
She's like, I'm from St. Louis.
Yeah, they're crime rate.
And that.
city on the East Coast.
All day,
all
day. I'm rocking my Auntie Maxine reclaiming my time shirt. Okay, yeah. Auntie Maxine is the epitome of grace, but she will drop you down if she has to. She ain't playing no games with nobody. So we're wearing fashion of the women who are coming to work and they do the work. They ain't got time to play with nobody.
And they're not scared. They're not scared to do that work. They're not scared to do that work.
And they're putting in that work.
The people sit them there to do a job, to represent the people of their cities.
Absolutely.
They're there to do their job, not just to make sure that they, because once you get the gig, you still gonna get a pension. You pretty much set, right? So, but some of them folks, it seems like they went in there for power. So what we gonna talk about first? We're gonna talk about what happened on Saturday first, because I got some. I have some. There won't be some direct quotes. There gonna be some paraphrases of things that was.
All right. So, before we talk about the impeachment, someone passed away today. That was a very controversial person, but a person nonetheless. And we send our condolences to the family of Rush Limbaugh. That's all I got. That's all I got. So we're gonna move on.
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So let's go into the impeachment. So we had.
He got impeached. And
like I said, okay. So here's my. Okay. So he's the only president in all of history that got impeached twice. House. And let's be clear so people can understand that, the House impeached him twice. But the Senate, for anything to effectively happen to him, the Senate would have to impeach him as well.
To remove him, to agree that he was guilty of the charges, and then have to have a 2/3 majority vote in order for him to suffer the consequences of his bad behavior.
Right. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack with that, right? Because you have on one hand, Mitch McConnell, who was before said it wasn't right. Then in the middle, he was like, this impeachment is a waste of time. And at the end, he was like, yeah, he did something wrong. It just doesn't.
He said that McConnell basically said that the House managers made the case that this president was, the former president was guilty of insurrection and high crimes of misdemeanors. He said they made the case. But McConnell said he couldn't vote to have him removed, or basically, since he's not in office, it's not about removing him, it's about preventing him from running for office moving forward. And there's some benefits that comes with being the former president to strip him of those benefits, right? So McConnell said, yeah, he did all that. However, because he's already gone, that remedy is no longer available. So it's basically like, how when you hear people be getting off on a technicality, McConnell's argument is that he got off on a technicality. That's some BS, because the House managers had already addressed how that cannot possibly be what it is that the Constitution meant, right? Because there has to be consequences for this kind of behavior. Because if it wasn't, that means that any president that's in office can wild out their last month, before they leave, and then you be like, I'm leaving. What you gonna do? And that can't be what they meant.
Let's dig deeper into these impeachments. Okay, so the very first president that to get impeached was who?
Andrew Johnson.
Okay, so that's way back. 1800
something. And my phone rings, so I had to turn it off. So I wanted to look it up, but I'm like, as soon as I turn it on, it's connected to the I have all Apple devices, so it's all connected. So I'm gonna try to turn it back on so I could get y'all the exact year. But it was Andrew Johnson. He was a hot mess. And I think he got impeached, but they didn't remove him. And I think when he left, he lost his next election. And what he ended up doing was running for Senate. And he won and became a senator. And I think he may have been from the state of Tennessee. I'm going to confirm all this once my phone get back on. And he ended up dying during his term, is my understanding. So,
we haven't been very successful with impeachments in this country.
And I think that's why they made it hard, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that, what Trump did, I don't think even the founders, of the United States of America ever thought a president would be so outrageous. Because
hold on, wait a minute. Remember, these people, and I'm gonna say these people, yes, I will. These people came from Europe when there was a monarchy who basically just ran with an iron fist, right? You had to follow their religion, you had to do it, and they broke away to come here so they can have a different republic, right?
They're trying to tax them without representation. I don't know.
I'm just saying, there's no excuse. The founding fathers knew what it was, what's up. That's their lineage. Okay.
I mean, Trump had no bottom though.
Well, I gotta agree with you on that. He don't have a bottom. He don't have a bottom. That's a bottomless pit. Yeah, you're right. Bottom. No bottom at all. Okay, so the founding fathers, if you want to give them that that pass that they couldn't ever foresee, the bottomless pit being a problem. Okay, we'll give them that. All right. So we go to Clinton. Okay, Clinton. Now, mind you, the definition for impeachment, haters gonna hate, girl.
Haters gonna hate. They just mad. They jealous.
He was getting it in. All right. Listen.
We don't do all that just for that.
It's like, dude, really? That's what we're doing? Okay.
Y'all.
I wouldn't even put him in the category of impeachment because there was no high crimes and misdemeanors. Being unfaithful is not a high crime.
But you know what it really was. Like one of the things, like when you get into law, you learn about like it's usually not the crime, it's the cover up. So he really got in trouble for the cover up, not even the crime, right? He got in trouble because it really wasn't the crime; it was the cover up that he got in trouble for.
Okay, so he got in trouble for the cover up. All right, so that wasn't even. I don't even want to put it in the sense of Andrew Johnson and Trump because I feel like that wasn't even like warranted. But okay, I digress. So then we come to 45 because I refuse to say his name. You have a man that has been impeached not once but twice, right? And the first impeachment was because what was it that he did again? He was
trying to hold back money to the Ukraine, so they could give him dirt on Joe Biden. He made that phone call that they were trying to hide.
Oh, that was a cover up. That was the cover up.
That was the cover up, boy.
The cover up. But, okay, so they tried to get him on the cover up.
He was trying to do some nonsense.
Right. Okay, so he tried to get him on a cover up, and then this obviously the second impeachment, which I feel like it's a bona fide impeachment, was the insurrection. Okay,
yeah.
So we knew we didn't have the numbers to begin with, right? And people say, well, why are we going through all of this? And we know they're not going to impeach him or whatever, but there is a method to the madness, right? We still got history books to write, they watered down history books, we still got, we need to put a stain. And the Democrats' thought process, from my perspective, is the worse we make him look, the better it is for us in the long run.
So to me, okay, so forget a stain. No, tell the truth. Okay, you were sitting there to do a job, right? You were sitting there to do a job.
Sure.
And if somebody does something wrong, you have to do your job, right?
Exactly.
And that's all it is. So it's like, we want to make sure it's in the history book. Oh, no, we want to stain on his name. No. That's part of your responsibility as members of the House and members of the Senate. If somebody does something that's contrary to the Constitution of the United States, there's a procedure in place for you to handle that. So handle that. And that's what they did. It's not about making them. I mean, listen, if there was no reason whatsoever that existed on this earth to impeach a president, that nonsense, that stuff that happened on January the 6th,
right?
There's no way to let that slide. Like, if you could get away with that, then why is there a country? Why is there a country and why is there laws?
So, okay, so and so when you talk about that and the amount of Republicans that decided that he didn't do anything wrong, right?
Well, they didn't, they don't want to say that he didn't do nothing. What they said was it was already known. They had no authority to do nothing.
Sis.
That's their story.
Sis.
That's what they said, yo.
Sis. Really? That's what we're doing?
Some of them said he didn't do nothing, but the other ones were like, no, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, if he did do something, he already gone, so we don't have no jurisdiction over this here matter.
Okay.
That's what they saying.
You could have 5 whole people die. Okay.
Who committed suicide afterwards?
People's house
that day. 2 committed suicides afterwards.
So 7 whole people die. Okay.
Yep.
You destroy the people's house.
Yep. Smear caca on the walls.
Yep, that was true.
Peed in corner. Yep.
Feces and urine. Yes, if y'all didn't get the extra scoop, that's what that was. Okay.
And then 140 officers were hurt. Some lost fingers, eyes, hurt.
But let them tell it Blue Lives Matter. But let them tell it Blue Lives Matter. These are the Blue Lives Matter people, right? They're the Blue Lives Matter people too. All right, so fine. So you have a slew of people go on Facebook, Instagram, videotape, didn't matter. We did what the president told us to do. We did what the president called us to war, and we went to war, okay? Countless people.
We got steal.
And then there was at one point I thought there was a silver lining at the end of the tunnel, because there was like, we're admitting witnesses. I said, witnesses.
Bring all 140 out. Bring them on crutches, iPads, hands. Bring them.
So who they bring as a witness? Some random chick.
They didn't even bring no witness. They read her statement into the record. But she wasn't a random chick. She's actually someone that had knowledge of the phone call that the president, McCarthy, who was the minority leader in the House, right? When they were trying to call Trump, like, dude, it's crazy up in here. Telling people to like go home, go away. He was like, they seem like they love me more than you do, Kevin. And the lady heard just like, they seem like they love me more. They're like, but they in here. They trying to rope people off. We scared. He was like, well,
the problem.
They loyal.
Random. You know why she random? She ain't the people she random to me. What you should have brought in 140 people, all the people that was on videotape on their Facebook Live talking about the president callers. Those are the witnesses that I wanted to see. Okay, wanted to see.
They videotape. They had the video presentation of those folks.
It ain't the same when they there. It ain't the same. Anyway, so let's get, we're going back off a tangent. All right, so the impeachment happened. We knew that we didn't have the numbers, okay? And
which we should have. That's the disgraceful part. That's the disgraceful part, that we didn't have the numbers, right? That's the really.
So that's my problem. My issue is, I don't know how any senator with a conscience can sit, and who were in those chambers that day, don't feel the obligation to the people that they serve for them to say, you know what, I did this, my dude, but he was wrong. I just don't. And how are you supposed to represent someone? And that's what you're doing. I'm confused.
But let's talk about some of the people the 7 Republicans who really did their job and voted, right? Exactly. So now check out what's happening to them. So they're getting backlash. So the Republican parties in their respective states are censuring them, saying that, y'all ain't good Republicans, right? The one in Philadelphia, I think is Toomey, something like that. He's not running for the re-election.
Right.
So one of the counties, the Republican person of that county that said, you're not no good Republican, and he censured him, right?
Yeah.
He's, you know how they say the something out loud. They say the truth out loud. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you're supposed to just say in your head and just not really say it for real. Right. He goes like, we didn't send him there to go vote his conscience.
I tell you.
I mean, what we sent him there for? He was not sitting there to vote his conscience. That man said that and he was serious. He said, when he sent him there to vote his conscience, we don't know why he's doing that. So the ones who did the right thing are getting punished by and some of them are like, yo, listen, I don't care, but that was nonsense. But the man straight up said, like, we ain't sent you there to vote your conscience, bruh.
Okay, and what about the other person you said, we were talking about McConnell because it looks like he may not finish out his term. However, he's forcing, what state was that?
Kentucky. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about what McConnell did, right? So so Schumer spoke first and talked about how the House managers did a great job and on and on and on, right? And so because I was kind of like I wanted them to call the witnesses, but I'm also happy that it was over because I was kind of watching too much TV. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, I got like a whole bunch of jobs. I got work to do. Like, why am I doing this? So it was kind of good so I could get some of I could reclaim my time back so I could actually do.
Reclaim the time, sis.
Reclaim my time to do the job that I'm paid to do, right? Not to just watch this stuff since I'm not.
Mind the job, mind the business that pays you. I see it.
So I was like, but then, but I was like, well, let me see what McConnell got to say. So I'm thinking he about to say something. And I was actually kind of like, wait, it sounds like he said Trump really did this and Trump should go to jail and Trump should get sued. I'm like, and I was like, well, and then so another one of my friends, she's like, yep, that's what he said. Trump should be getting arrested. I was like, that's what he said for real. So even though he said, well, I couldn't vote for him because of the jurisdictional issue, but somebody else could take him. There's Attorney General's office. He did a whole bunch of stuff in a whole bunch of states. There's Georgia out there. Isn't he an unindicted co-conspirator in a case in New York State? So New York, you could do something. The Justice Department, y'all could do something. So even though he voted against it, he pretty much just dared everybody else to not only sue Trump for monetary damages, but to arrest him for what happened. That's what Mitch McConnell said.
And the cognitive dissonance of this foolery, to me, it's like, it's like a person who is like, that plays this game like, don't worry, I got you. But then they don't got you, right? And then, don't worry, girl, I got you. They don't got you.
They don't got you.
I'm like confused. Like, dude, it's like, it's either you think he's garbage or he's not. Which is it gonna be? Because you can't play both sides. You said that. What the Bible says, you can't be lukewarm. Right? You got to be on this side or that side. Which is
as much as McConnell did for Trump, right? Because how like when people don't really like you, they forget all the good things you've done, and they just the last thing that they just, like it's when they get mad at you and stop talking to you, that's really how they felt about you the whole time. But as long as you was doing the things that they wanted you to do for them, y'all were good, right? And the minute you don't do something that they don't like, then all of a sudden you ain't nothing, right? So that's how they really feel about you. So
what happened? What happened after McConnell said what he said?
McConnell said that.
What 45 said, girl?
Said,
let me put my volume up because I got
McConnell a dour. I had to look that word up. Sullen and unsmiling political hack.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, wait a minute.
We don't think that's the people are saying like somebody gave Trump that word or he used the thesaurus or something.
He's not that bright, but he's not that bright. He's not that bright, but he said that about his friend. That's his BFF.
The one who pretty much allowed him to do all the foolery that he did the whole 4 time because he was the majority leader. And he had like probably 200 some odd bills sitting on his desk, not doing the people's work because of 45, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's what he called
it. The minute
Southern and unsmiling political hack. And that he said he will support anybody that goes against the folks that voted for him to be.
45 said he's gonna support anybody else besides Mitch McConnell.
Everybody else that's running against any of those people that supported.
And how many times have we had this conversation that he ain't loyal?
45 ain't loyal.
No loyalty. And what was the question I asked you? I said, do you think he would throw his sons his children under the bus like that? What you say?
Not the daughter, the sons maybe, depending on what it is, how it's gonna benefit him. Because he all about himself. So
he sure is. Okay. Yeah. So they don't get him. We don't get the impeachment that we were seeking, and we knew we weren't gonna do that. They should have paraded the entire. Somebody said is Ms. Rose said we should have paraded the insurrectionists all up and through the during the proceedings so they can all see what's going on. And I think that would have been a dramatic part of a trial. But anyway,
I would like to have seen that in the history books. They brought 145 injured police officers through the Capitol to show.
And then you still have some senators who don't even acknowledge that one police officer who saved Mitt Romney's life, who basically saved the whole. Yeah. Won't even mention his name, but that's okay.
Yeah, but what they did do, they did give him, I don't know if it's like a silver or gold medal of honor. They all unanimously voted to give him that though. Yeah.
Doing his job, hot mess.
They did that.
So suffice it to say, if it's not something egregious to the point of everybody can see and we can't even deny it, you won't get an impeachment from the Senate.
Yeah, I think, and I don't wish no harm on nobody, but some folks have said that if one of them was hurt that day, I think the outcome would have been different. Oh, if it really, thank goodness for all those officers that got hurt for them, because really, they did their job and they got hurt to protect those members of Congress, because that's what they're supposed to do. But the officers got hurt for them. But if one of them was hurt, I think it would have been a very different conversation. But the officers did their job, even though they were undermanned, understaffed. It was not enough of them. That's why so many of them got hurt. But they did their job to protect the as much as they could. They protected the buildings as much as they could, but they definitely protected the people that were there.
I think people who should have been part of this impeachment was his co-conspirators, because this is not something that was spoke about a day before the 6th. This was ongoing. This was something they knew. Mm-hmm. FBI was all over it. Mm-hmm. And you didn't send no National Guard. You didn't send no extra protection. You were just like, he's just going to do a little thing and then we're going to think of whatever and keep it moving. No.
But what Nancy Pelosi did in response to that, to find out who these co-conspirators were, and that's probably why they was like, listen, we cannot vote, to impeach this dude because we're going to get in trouble too. All right. So what she did is, like, after September 11th, they had put together a commission to investigate how this happened, why this happened, make sure this don't never happen, never no more. Right. Mm-hmm. So they're going to do something similar in response to what happened on that day. So I don't know how long that's going to take, but there, some folks will get answered. There will be answers to these questions that a lot of people have. And, I think more people are going to probably just resign, instead of leaving in even more disgrace.
Sure.
They'll probably work some stuff out once that information comes out, and they'll probably just resign. Or if it's closer to the time when it's for them to seek re-election, because House reps have to run every 2 years, maybe they'll just say, you know what? I ain't going to run no more. Keep my name out of it. You know what I'm saying? Redact that part. So it may be something.
I don't know nothing. Don't know nothing. Didn't see nothing. I'm not running for re-election, so y'all good. We good. And I'm hoping that that's what happens. I'm hoping that more on the Senate side than the House side.
Because so I think the number, and I might be wrong, is between 17 and 24 seats that's available, that's up this term.
Right.
I think it's either 10 or 14 of them. There's 10 Democratic seats that are up that we want to keep. And then I think there's 14 Republican seats that we may be able to, I don't think we can take all of them, but we're hoping to be able to flip some of those seats.
And this is in 2022, right?
22, yeah. And I think Warnock is up in 22 because he didn't get elected to a full term. He was taking over a term. They had to, because the person that had that seat was sick and he retired. So I think he has to run again in 22.
So wait, the chick he took the seat from?
She was appointed, but until they had a special election.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think his seat is up in 22 also. So that's my, I'm almost sure that's what it is. Because Perdue is threatening to run against him. The one who lost against John Ossoff is threatening to run against him.
Good luck with that, honey, because
Georgia with it.
Georgia turned blue. So okay.
All right.
So let's talk about were we gonna talk about Uncle Joe first, or we were gonna talk about
Go ahead and talk about Uncle Joe. And then we'll end up with some Black history stuff. But yeah, talk about
Uncle Joe had his town hall meeting last night. And I thought he did good for the most part. What I have a small criticism is Uncle Joe tends to ramble on, right? Yeah. He tends to ramble on, and I would like for Uncle Joe to kind of, not get sidetracked and bring it back and maybe be a little bit more scripted. And he would do better. The other thing he talked about was that kind of threw me off was, and he always said it, he didn't say, you know, the 50,000 is what, 50,000, and that's to get away with the
student loan. I needed that in my life too.
I need that in my life too. He never said that he was going to do 50,000. He did say he was going to do 10,000. So then when there was a question about that, he was like, I will not be able to do that. He says, I will not be able to do that. He went on to talk about people who send their kids to Harvard and, you know, whatever. And he's like, I don't think they should be able, you have to pay for them. And, you know, it was this whole, you know, he gave like this broad explanation, but basically said 50,000 was not going to be something they're going to do.
Yeah, what I think he's saying, well, you know, is that it shouldn't just be like a standard number. There should be like some sort of formula.
That's what he said.
To kind of to say, because some people may, you know, it may be truly unfair to just automatically wipe $50,000 of debt of someone who may be making $1 million a year. Bro, you make $1 million, you can pay that money. Go ahead, pay that money, right? So it may be some level of fairness to it, and that's what we want. Like they got to come up with some sort of formula and criteria. Maybe it's income based, whatever it is, and it's something like that. Instead of it just be like a across the board, we're gonna wipe out $50,000.
And I understood that part. The other thing that I was a little bit disappointed with Uncle Joe is that he's like, we should not defund the police. We need to give them more money. Okay. So I was like, oh, Uncle Joe. But I listened to him. I try to hear him out. He started off with saying we need to provide more training, more this, more that. And that's going to cost money. Then he talked about that he refuses and doesn't, and he's going to work on with his defense department about not arresting people with drug offenses. Like for instance, if you're on drugs, you need rehabilitation, you don't need jail. So he was really adamant about that. My concern is many police departments have very big budgets. And if we're doing something in terms of providing more training, then they can reorganize their budget to accommodate those trainings, right? Yeah. Giving them more money to me doesn't help the problem. If the problem is training and it has to be, you know, diversity training, what's that other one that they always use, that other term?
Implicit bias.
Implicit bias. Thank you. Yeah, implicit bias training, and also, you know, use of force and de-escalation training, right? I think that there's a way for these, you know, departments who have big budgets to reevaluate their budget and make sure that they put money towards those type of trainings. I don't think throwing money at police departments or police officers or police, you know, captains or whatever will solve the problem. The problem is training, period. And there should be some legislation, and I think he touched on it just a little bit, of legislations on what they need to do to kind of reform the police officers. There was a public defender that was on there. Then he talked about how he was a public defender. He went off a tangent. Like, Uncle Joe, let's stay on topic. That is my only thing. So he talked about the public defenders, and he said that he wanted public defenders to make just as much as state attorneys. I was like, well, don't they make the same? This is where you come in. You let me know.
Yeah. So, you know, that's probably a Ruby Green question, actually, whether or not they make the same, because I never worked for the state. I think the salaries are similar. Because at least in Florida, maybe in some states it's a little bit different, but at least in Florida, I think the salaries are probably the same because they all, you know, get a budget from the state of Florida. Maybe the state attorneys get a little bit more money because, you know, maybe they get a little bit more money than the public defender's office, but that I'm not sure of. They may get a little bit more, but the salary, the difference in the salary is not that big. It's not like one of them is making 150 and the other one's making 50. It's not that.
Right. Okay.
It's like a matter of like a few $1,000s in between or something like that. Yeah.
Well, and you know that a few $1,000s makes a difference, just like $15 an hour.
You know, if you make it, the difference between 52 and 55 ain't much. I guess by the time you take out some taxes and all that, you making an extra $100-something a month. That is no, ma'am.
Well, $15 an hour as opposed to $8 an hour is a lot.
That's a lifestyle change because you're literally doubling. Like, okay, so we talk about, if we're talking about increasing the minimum wage, which in Florida is about $8.25, and raising somebody's salary to $15, you're practically doubling that person's income. Like you're literally, so they're going from making like $14,000 a year to like 24,000 or 23. That's different. That's a lifestyle change. You're doubling that person's income. But when you're about to add $1 an hour to like what I'm making, or that's not a lifestyle change. But if you're doubling someone's income, that is a lifestyle change, which is amazing to me that people would vote in someone that's going to make, because senators make about $179,000 a year, something to that effect. And they have an expense account. Remember that part. They have an expense account. They hardly pay for food or travel because they get a per diem and all that stuff, right? So they're making this money, and they got to pay rent, but pretty much that be about it because everything, most of the other stuff is covered, right? Like you send that person to a job that's gonna pay them like $170 plus, and they got a problem. And I did the math on it, so they make about $90 an hour. Average. Say they work 40 hours a week, which I don't think they do, because sometimes they don't even work the whole 52 weeks out of the year. Because I'm a professor and I don't work 52 weeks out of the year. My contract is not for that long. You know what I'm saying? So that contract is not even for no 52 weeks. So say even if they were working 52 weeks out of the year, they're making about $90 an hour if they're working a 40-hour week, and they got a problem with you making 15.
And let's be clear.
They're not working.
Let's be clear.
So they're making way more than that. And
let's be clear. And let's be clear. A senator is a public servant. Let's be clear. Okay, that is their job description. You a public servant. So you a public servant, and you don't want me to make $15 an hour, and I'm paying your salary.
Yep, and I'm making between 90
I'm contributing to your salary.
And they get health insurance. They get all their health insurance. They get dental plan, all this other stuff. And you can't have.
And I'm over here working paycheck to paycheck.
And you might be able to, get Medicaid, and the dentist going to do very little.
I'm just saying, these midterm elections, these local elections, they make decisions on your everyday life. You vote in these senators, and they telling you don't deserve $15 an hour. That is not their problem. You had, what's that guy's name? Was it Muchin? Not Muchin.
Yeah, Muchin. Yeah, he thinks it should be more like 11 something.
No, but
he's not completely against a raise in the minimum wage, but he don't think it should be 15. He thinks it should be about 11, because he said in New York, in San Francisco, in Washington State, where it's already expensive, they're getting $15. But somebody in West Virginia, which is his home state, they don't need to make $15 an hour because it don't cost that much to live there.
And you have people like that. And then what about the other guy, the first stimulus? What was the guy's name that was making the decisions with the first stimulus? I forgot his name. The guy with the glasses. Can't remember the top of his name. This man said $1,200 is enough to hold you. Okay, now some people's rent is more than $1,200. Okay. And you're talking about
like dodging bullets. You might be in a bad neighborhood dodging bullets.
At $1,200. And this man stood there, who is a millionaire, and said, $1,200 is enough for everybody. Like y'all that can hold you for 2-3 months. $1,200.
That time it might have been 9 months, because we stopped working in March. A lot of people.
I'm just saying.
Down in March.
I'm just saying. These people are voted in. They don't just get to be there, right? They're voted in, okay? So it's important that people pay attention. Don't forget this. Don't forget the insertion, the coup d'etat. Don't forget that. Don't forget those who voted against it. Don't forget them. Remember their names because they represent you. Don't forget them. Don't forget all the representatives who will sit there, you voted in to make decisions on your behalf and basically told you to your face, what happened on January 6th? That's not criminal.
It's misunderstanding.
At all. No, it's not criminal.
And the other people, so the reps are the ones who have their seats every 2 years, their seats are up. Those are the same people who voted to get rid of Liz Cheney because she voted on the impeachment, right? She's from Wyoming. It ain't too many black people there, but she's from Wyoming. And Wyoming is actually a very high income state. Like listen, they ain't no joke living there. They got their paper up there, especially from Jackson Hole. You making your money. All right.
Okay. All right.
They voted. I think like 66 of them or something like that. Some crazy number of them voted for her to lose her seat because she's the third ranking person in the House on the Republican side. But then Marjorie Taylor Greene, or Marjorie Greene Taylor, that's the lady that had the picture with the guns, talking about like she coming for the squad. Like she thinks Stormy Douglas didn't happen.
She ain't happen either.
And all kinds.
Sandy Hook ain't happen. Remember, Sandy Hook ain't happen either. So Sandy Hook
ain't happen. None of that. It was a fake thing. Oh, and she think the Vegas shooter, it was some pro-gun people that set that up because they didn't want. They're trying to take away everybody's guns. All right. So that's the craziness that she was talking. And she got a standing ovation when she went to the House. But they was trying to get rid of Liz Cheney because she's like, yep, 45 was responsible for the insurrection. So that's the madness. So remember those people too. Remember those 66 senators that wanted to get rid of Liz Cheney, but they was cool and it was good with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I just want people to understand that these midterm elections, I have to keep reiterating this, that number one, let's just make it clear. Black people showed up and showed out. And we always show up and show out. They just don't try to
our lives depend on it.
Okay. So we come out, we show up and show out. You all need to understand, because I'm talking to my Black people. It's Black History Month. I want y'all to be clear. You all need to understand that they are afraid of us. They know what we carry. They know what we can do when we collectively come together. They're afraid of us. You better come out there in the midterm elections.
Not scared like we about to go fight them scared. Just scared of like if we really use our power, that we would be able to get so much done. Not scared like, yo, they finna come beat me up. That's not the scare we're talking about.
I'm talking about
like if we decide, if Black people decided like they're not buying potato chips no more, Lay's is going out of business, right? If they decide that they're not buying Jordans no more, yeah, man, that stock is gonna fall. So that's what they're afraid of. Is the power, is the fact that a lot of us have bought into, because we're over advertised to, period, right? Like this is a high market society. They market the people of color because they know we're gonna spend our money on a whole bunch of stuff that we may or may not need and can't really afford, that kind of stuff. So what they're afraid of is that we're gonna get this knowledge and be like, you know what? You can't just be taking my money like that and you're not giving my community nothing back in return. That's what they're afraid of. That's the fear that exists.
And that's the fear that I'm talking about. They know that when we come together and we put our minds together on a specific candidate, on a specific issue. I mean, look how far Black Lives Matter went. We're not talking, it didn't stop here in the United States. That thing went global. Why do you think that Black Lives Matter is up for a
Nobel Peace Prize?
Nobel Peace Prize, right? They don't just nominate any old random person about that. This is how far that that group and that whole vision and purpose went. We don't play about ours, right? When we're passionate and we come together for something, we come together. The minute a Black person lose their lives over some nonsense, we will burn things down. Because you know why? And let me just let me be clear about the burning things down.
Burn it down,
Listen,
a lot of those things that got burnt down during the Black Lives Matter protest, it wasn't people of color doing that.
It wasn't.
Some of those alleged allies that kind of joined the thing. And we just want y'all to don't be killing us, don't be hurting us. We ain't trying to like go to jail and die some more for real. So I ain't gonna claim that like we finna just burn it down for no reason. I mean, I was watching something some months ago, and then there was a problem. It wasn't a Black, it was a Guardian Angels or one of these organizations that was in Harlem, and they were trying to bring the community. So they was like, let's go talk to the people, see what they want. The people were like, we just want them to come pick up the garbage. And they was like, what? You ain't worried about like the police beating you up and all? They're like, no, we want them to come get the garbage. The neighborhood stinks, right? So what they did, it was like, I think it was 3rd Avenue. They went put the garbage in the middle of the street and set it on fire. So they burned that down because they wanted to get the people's attention, because they're like, how is it that you guys won't even come get the garbage out of the neighborhood, right? So, you know, yeah, they did, in that instance, they did burn the garbage down, and they ain't had the sanitation department picking up the garbage no more.
Well, I've listened to some of the Black Lives Matter activists and some of the organizers and stuff like that. They don't advocate for that. However, one of the things that I heard, not an organizer, but someone who was part of just a protest, is that they don't listen and they don't pay attention until some of their stuff is destroyed. Mm-hmm. That's when they start paying attention, or that's when they, anytime that it's going to cost them money, they're willing to listen and say, okay, well, all right, you don't burn this building down. Well, okay, what is it that you want? Yeah. So not advocating for that, but that was just something that that kind of, keyed me in and said, oh,
when you talk about the burning down, Haiti, we got Haitian roots. And there's like, we'll burn this island down before we let you
around.
This flavor. So that's where that fire came from. Because when they should be like, oh, really? You trying to do what? They're like, okay, we'll torch this whole thing. They started. Like, wait. The French was like, all right, okay. Y'all kind of crazy.
We'll burn it down, burn it to the ground. I mean, and listen, all I'm trying to say is that Black people, you have the power.
You have the power.
You have it. You've always
had to hold back your money. Mm-hmm. They gonna listen.
Listen to me. I've always said,
so public's gonna have to come out with a statement soon.
I think they did. They try to say that she wasn't, part of their thing.
Yeah, but they really feeling it now. I think I saw something else too, that they're saying like, listen, why y'all messing with us? We ain't got nothing to do with this. Y'all got
to stop shopping over there. The minute I heard, I stopped shopping the minute they said that they gave DeSantis $100,000. I was like, you don't get my money no more. You won't get it no more. What I would advocate, and I've always advocated, is that we do economic sanctions, and we have the power to do that. We don't need government to do that. We can do that on our own. Yeah. I just want Black people to know that there is Black businesses everywhere. Oh, that's the thing that I wanted to mention. On Facebook in Broward County, there is a Facebook page that is called Broward Black-Owned Businesses. You go on that page, sign up. There's about like 30,000 people on that page already. But if you sign up and register, because it's only as a group invite only, you can only kind of, go in there and get invited. You can put anything in there. So I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. And you get a slew of messages from people who are Black-owned businesses that will do the work. I believe we need to we need to support our Black-owned businesses, right? These are the businesses that make the community thrive. Without these businesses, our community don't thrive as well as it should. These mom and pop stores and shops is what makes us a community that connects us together. They need our support more than ever. So on Facebook page, Broward Black-Owned Businesses, look that up, sign up. I promise you won't regret it. I got my hair done from somebody on there. Girl was fantastic. I got some handymans on there. I got, cleaning people that reached out on. I mean, like, it's like everything you need, one-stop shop. Go over there. It's all about supporting our own. Let me tell you something. They don't like when we support our own. They don't like that. Look what they did to a Black Wall Street. Look what they did, and look at, there's so many instances of thriving Black communities that didn't need anything from the white man, and see what happens to them. We just need to kind of buckle down and be together, because that's important. I love us for real. I really do. And it's important that we go out there and we support each other. What were you going to say? There was something you was going to say about.
Oh, no. That's no, I'm here for it. I love Black people,
Y'all do.
I really do.
All about it, honey.
I love good people, period. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because I have like I got a whole bunch of friends that's not Black, and I love them, and we disagree. And there's one person in particular, like, I don't agree with their politics at all. But I tell you, I can call that person and say, yo, I need you to support this, I need you to support that. And they're right there, and they will support so I can't just, because of somebody's politics, you can't, say no, they're not good, they're not good folks or whatever, right? So that's it. But I'm telling you, I have some, some folks, and that's not, I mean, even like information like, yo, I don't understand this in the law. Can you explain it? I just open will provide all of that, even though we don't, again, we're not on the same page politically, but at the same time, very good person. So yeah, love Black people. I love good people, period. You know what I'm saying? You good folks, we good. Cause I can talk to all y'all about and everything.
I love Black people first. I love Black people first, and then I love everybody after, okay?
Yeah, I'm a nerd, so I can talk to anybody about anything. All right.
That's great. But I just love Black people first.
We did good. We actually thought we were only going to talk for 30 minutes. We're at the hour. So
okay.
I want to end off on two things.
Mm-hmm.
So elections in Miramar, Deerfield, Sea Ranch, Coconut Creek, and one other city, I can't remember, I'm sorry, is on March the 9th, 2021. Make sure you vote. You can still request your mail-in ballots up to February 27th. Do it now, send it back. I have one at my house, but I need to holler at a couple of those candidates because I got some questions.
You see what Sandra's doing? She says she's hollering at the candidates.
You know what I'm saying? They put the same numbers out there, so I'm finna call it. I got some questions, right?
That's right.
And they pages, so I need to talk to y'all, like why should I vote for you, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I got to holler at a few of them to get some clarification.
Very nice, very good.
Right. So you're able to do that. And then the last thing, since this is Black History Month, so there's a school in Utah that decided.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, we
don't do it. But you want to go there? Go there.
So okay. I'm just in on that. So they're allowing parents to opt out of allowing their children to learn about Black history. Okay, you can look at that two ways. One of the things could be that, well, if you teach American history for real, Black people will be included. So you're right. We don't need to have you won't need to teach Black history separate from American history because if you teaching American history for real, there's a whole bunch of Black people that are here that have made significant contributions. And if you just refer to them as American, we're going to learn about these folks anyway, right? So maybe that's what they're trying to do. They just going to be like, we're going to teach American history. We're going to give everybody credit for what they did to make this country great. And that's what's happening. But then if you trying to do that because you just want to keep teaching all of this misinformation and you got a problem with supplementing, the contributions of people of color to the United States, then, I got some problems with that. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that's okay, Utah.
I don't know why you giving them a pass.
I
mean, I don't get it.
Maybe they just gonna start.
No, ma'am.
Acknowledging all the contributions of all of the people that are here have made.
No, ma'am.
That's not what they're doing?
No, ma'am. No. Because if schools can have a Holocaust class about the Holocaust, you can have Black history. And you can have Native American history, and you can have
talk about them in their they
talk about everything. So if there are classes for that in the regular public school system, there shouldn't be an opt-out option. Especially if it's grade school and high school. If we're talking about college, you can make your decision, pick what you want to learn. But if we're talking about a thing and it's in the curriculum, you don't get to opt out. Absolutely, there's no excuse. Oh, well, if we're talking about American history, Black people gonna be in there. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, if they teach American history, Black people don't be in it.
No, ma'am. Mm-hmm. No, ma'am. No, American history is not Black history.
Well, American history includes the contributions of Black people in America.
Where
that's how it should be taught.
Okay, but it's not taught like that. But it's not taught like that. So
that's right.
Because it's not taught like that, and now we have a Black history,
they're gonna start telling the truth.
All I'm saying is you don't get to put in an alternative in this whole scenario. You don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't work. That you don't get to do that. Sorry. So if you want to have your child opt out on something, they need to opt out on everything. Our history shouldn't be an opt out option at all.
especially if you're trying to unify the nation. Like, we're gonna keep unifying on lies. What we uniting? We uniting on your truth, or are we uniting on reality? What we doing?
Are we united on the truth?
The truth.
Forget about your truth. The truth. The truth with no bias.
Went down. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Everything. You need to own your original sin. Own it. Own it.
Tell it.
And talk about it. But don't be trying to make it look like it's an option.
Let it go.
Don't make it an option. It's not an option. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I mean, it's part of you. It's an appendage. It's part of what's going on here.
Tell it and move on.
Giving up. I saw that twice. I was like, what the? Okay. All right, Utah. I guess there's not enough of us over there. We see you with your translucent behinds. We see you. Okay, because there's not enough of us over there to make a ruckus. Okay. Y'all doing opt-out options. Okay. All right, Utah, we see you. All right. For the Black people in Utah, if you see us and you hear us, we see them. Okay. You need backup. Call us anytime. All right. So I'm gonna leave. You left off with that. I'm gonna leave off.
That's what I had to say.
I'm gonna leave off with one thing.
Yes.
Please. And again, I ask, please, wear 2 masks. Okay. Do your social distancing. Wash your hands. Okay, 30 seconds. Wash your hands.
Hand sanitizer. All brands up in here. You can't even find Purell no more. I think this is like an old bottle from God knows where. You see us at the end. You can't even find Purell. But they got all different kinds. I got some kind of
wash your hands. Okay.
Section. Try that one.
Get 2 masks.
Yeah.
Do social distancing.
I got masks, but I would have to get up to show those. So
respect people's spaces.
Oh yeah, so I have these. These are medical masks.
Very nice, very nice.
You know, wear the mask.
Yeah. I use that and a cloth mask on top.
Yeah, this is a medical grade mask.
2, and we're saying this because the variant, based on the news, will be the dominant virus by March, right? So it's more contagious. The severity isn't high. It's the same severity, but it's more contagious. So wear your double mask. Those little thin things that y'all be putting in, you come up from your neck and it comes up, whatever, that don't work. Put on a mask and a second mask. Okay, protect yourselves because COVID is known to be unpredictable.
What I got on my desk? Alcohol.
Okay. Wipe it down, okay, and put on your mask. Just put it on. Don't argue with nobody. This is not about your civil rights. You know, my Caucasian brothers and sisters, please, enough. Okay, wear the mask. Yeah, that's all I'm asking. And then if they don't want to wear it, just walk away. Ain't no sense in. Don't go viral on that nonsense. Okay, don't go viral because you gotta hurt somebody because they want to wear their mask. That's all. Don't argue with a non-person who doesn't want to wear masks. Walk around. They're just gonna be spreading that COVID. Just the thing with listen. Like Sandra give you the evil eye when you walk in. You ain't got no mask next to her. She's like, you ain't got no choice but to wear a mask. I walk around you. I can't go in there. We don't have conversations. And then your mask needs to be over your nose, like right here. Very good, Sandra. Just completely. Not up it, not right here, not right here, not right here, over your nose. All that. Some of y'all have to get, we got to be rudimentary with some of y'all. One of my mom, somebody that was at my mom's house, he had it under his hat. I was like, that ain't where it goes. Stop talking about mama, walk away. All right. Or they have it under their chin. We don't do that. No. I'm just saying that I have friends, family members who have suffered from this disease. This is not a joke. It's not a hoax. It's not a game. You just have to be careful. And pre-existing condition, it doesn't matter. Yep. This disease doesn't discriminate. So not at all. Please wear a mask. Okay. Don't be following the former president with his foolery. News came out that he was sicker than he led on to be, almost on a ventilator. Okay. But we don't get that delicious serum. Yeah, so he got special permission. He got special stuff. You don't get special stuff. We can't get. The rest of us would have died. Period.
You know?
Just saying.
Okay.
Again, that was his way of saying he didn't want to do no panic. But listen, don't be sitting there following.
But you know, just the fact that our current president and vice president and everybody around them is wearing masks, the numbers are going down in terms of hospitalization, people on ventilators, like new folks that are catching COVID. Even though the death numbers are still high, mind you, these people were already sick. Most of them got sick probably like in December, you know, after traveling for the holidays when they told folks not to go. And I ain't nobody blaming, you know, I ain't blaming nobody, you know, you gotta, you know, I ain't blaming nobody for that, but some of that is what happened. Folks were traveling during the holidays. You know, they wanted to get their little New Year's groove. And I understand it was 9 months into like being stuck in the house. People were like, I think I could still go. And then, you know, unfortunately, so the numbers are still high because I think it was like 3,000 deaths yesterday. And the numbers, you know, they're slowly going down because on January 20th, it was over 4,000. You know, it was over 4,000. So it's going down. It's still sad. I've had like some classmates that I found out that either their parent or grandparent, you know, died. Some of them were in nursing homes. You know, some young folks I knew. It's unfortunate. I had relatives who did get COVID. Thank goodness, you know, they made it through, but you know, it's the long-term effects, right? That folks aren't talking about, you know, the memory loss, the fatigue and the breathing issues and all of those types of things. So that, you know, they're still dealing with that. So it is a very serious.
It's very, very serious. And I think those numbers are coming from Thanksgiving, because I know that there was a big
Christmas, all of that. Yeah.
All of that. And so these people could still be in like very critical condition and they're still trying to hold on. And those death numbers are what you're seeing now. That's the remnants of it. So it's really, really important that we really focus on trying to be safe, making sure everybody else around us is safe. It's not a good feeling to see someone suffer.
Yeah. With a lot of them, they pass away alone because nobody can go in with them and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have spouses, children, you know, cousins. It's just a horrible, horrible situation. And at the end of the day, everyone, we're in this together. We're not, you know, there's no separate part. We're in this together. It's a pandemic, so the whole world is suffering. So just be cognizant of that. Wear your mask, wash your hands, use your thing, and be kind. Show people some grace because it's not easy. You know what I mean? Show people some grace. All right, so next week we're gonna try to have a guest.
Yeah, we'll have a guest next week.
We'll have a final business, Black business, because it's Black History Month. But listen, I always post Black History 24/7, 365. Okay, Black History is not. I am not reducing that to a month for me. Black History Month is all year, all day, all the time. I'm all about if you go on my Facebook page, I'm blackity black, so I can't be black no more.
And we gonna be banging till the end, y'all. Corey Bush, go get the t-shirt, go to her page. You can actually go on her Facebook page and order it. There's a link there for it. Or it's CoreyBush.com. Support them. Support all of these candidates that were strong enough. And because they're gonna try to primary all of them. So when you know campaign season, it's kind of already starting because people are already kind of putting feelers out there, whatever.
Right, that's right.
Florida Democratic Party, who's gonna be the nominee? Who y'all got for governor? Because DeSantis gotta go. He's still up at Hillary. Okay, so we need to know that's gonna be.
And Rubio got to go too. Who you got?
It's Marco Rubio is up in 22, and we need to know who y'all trying to have run against Marco Rubio. People.
What we doing, Democratic
Party started right now.
Whoever's the head of the Florida Democratic, what we doing? What we doing?
Diaz.
Let us know what you need us to do. What we doing? Who we got?
Names so we can start doing what we got to do to make it happen.
People is out here. Them two got to go.
DeSantis and
got to go.
Marco Rubio.
Yes, they got to go. All right, so we're gonna sign off.
Yes.
Be back next week.
Miramar, Deerfield, Sea Ranch, Coconut Creek, and some other city in Broward. Vote March 9th.
Round the corner, people.
Mail. Request if you have a ballot now, do it, send it out. Or request it before February 27th.
Get to know your candidates. Like Sandra's gonna reach out to her and be like, listen, why should I
have to answer some questions?
You need to call your candidate.
I spoke to a couple of them already. I spoke to Carrie Esbeth. I spoke to her during the last cycle. I'm going to probably pin her video to the top. She's running against Maxwell Chambers. So I can have a little conversation with him. And I know Darlene Riggs is running against Yvette Colburn.
Okay.
And the next rate that has Val Gunster, sir. What's the last name? She's in a race with Winston Barn and a couple other candidates. So
that's a packed one.
Huh?
That's a packed
that one. Yeah, that's C3. I
now.
think that's the third seat. That one is packed.
Yeah.
So we talk to those folks in Miramar.
Yeah. So listen, it's busy. We still busy. Listen, we got to keep our foot on the necks of the political game here. Okay. Yeah. It's busy all the time. Just because it's an off year doesn't mean it's not busy. It's busy.
And it's actually it's like a off year because it's not a presidential election, but their races all year long. Their race so Miami-Dade have races April the 13th. There's some states that have them in May, and then there are a lot of elections that are going to take place November the 2nd, 2021. There are a lot of seats that are up on November 2021. So yeah, look out. Stay engaged.
Look out for that and stay engaged. This is what we're about. We're about keeping y'all civically engaged. Get to know your candidates. The power rests in you.
That's right. Okay. So, I'm talking too much, but I'm going to say this part, right?
Okay.
So, Dave Chappelle had came out and said basically he had done when he did the Chappelle show, he didn't get paid for it because he left in the middle of his contract, right? It's people that own the show and his name and all of that stuff. They put it on some other social media platforms. Not social media. They put it on. I think HBO might have bought it. It was on Netflix or something like that. But CBS Viacom owns it. So he told Netflix, yo, I don't like that because then people never paid me. Netflix took it off. The other ones, they left it on. So Dave Chappelle went and he told people, he's like, yo, don't watch it. Don't watch the show. Don't watch the show. Don't watch the show. So over the weekend, he came out and he said, thank you. Because now they reached out to him. They gave him his name back. They gave him his licensing back and they paid him. CBS Viacom did that. And he said, I didn't never call them because they're not my boss. The people are my bosses, right? He said, no, the people are my boss. Because he said, if no one's watching that show is absolutely worthless to them, right? Right. So he said, the people are my boss. So I came and I spoke to the people. Y'all looked out, didn't watch it, and they had to holler at me to come pay me, give my name and my licensing back, and then now, you can go on Netflix and all those platforms and go ahead and watch it, So that's part of the reason why I tell you this is that we really are those bosses. So if you said, okay, the person came, they sold you a bill of goods, which might have been true or not, and said, send me here, and I'm going to do all of these things for you, right? When their time comes up, you check their record, and you see if they did what they said they were going to do. And if they didn't, they don't get to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? You got to get somebody else up in there. And I always say no candidate should run unopposed. I mean that. You know what I'm saying? So if you sit them there to do a job and they didn't do their job, the people, we're their bosses. You know what I'm saying?
You don't do what you don't do what I told you to do. Guess what?
Oh, what you promised to do too, because you also made me some promises.
Guess what? You don't deliver. Guess what?
You don't keep your job, especially if these people been there for 50 years. Well, not 50, maybe 40, but that's too much.
But still, yeah.
If they're not doing their jobs. If they're not doing their job.
But you know what? That's why I keep saying we do have the power. They work for us.
Yeah.
One person that came on our show, I think it was Jen Perlman. She was like, when they being insubordinate, what happens? You got to go.
Yep.
You don't get to do what you want. You're a public servant.
Yep.
You are an elected official. You elected. The key word is elected. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have no job. Nope. So they have to understand that. You get the ones that have 2-year terms, you got 2 years to show us what you got. You
can't do it.
Years, you got to go. If you ain't go 2 years, you got to go. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
No harm, no foul. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
It ain't personal.
It's not. You ain't doing for me. You got to go. So
you have to keep a job because I like you and you're not good at it.
That's right. No, who does that? Who would you go to a hairdresser that messes up your hair every single time
because you like them and they be burning up your scalp and all your ends be broken, breaking up your hair?
Would you go? Okay. So that's not what we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to be civically engaged. We're going to question these candidates. Yep. We're going to hold our elected officials accountable. Okay. That way they know, okay, these people ain't playing with us. My constituents is what they want. Not what I want. My constituents want this. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, we will.
And that's where we at.
All righty.
All right. So
good night, everybody.
We're gonna go reclaim our time, and we're gonna be banging
till the end, y'all.
Banging it to the end, and we're gonna rock it out. So next week we're gonna have some guests, and we're gonna dive right on in about Black History Month, because this is our month.
And maybe Utah reversed their decision.
Who?
Utah.
They did? Did they reverse their decision?
Maybe they will. I don't know, because it sounds foolish.
Well, we see you, translucent Utah. We see you, okay?
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep bringing you up if you can't get it right.
And for those who don't know, Trump ain't loyal.
Y'all should have been know that he wasn't loyal, but if you don't know, his BFF Mitch McConnell got tongue bathed today. Was it today or yesterday?
Yes.
Tongue lashing was today or today?
Last night.
He got a tongue lashing. Mm-hmm. Because he finally came out and said that it was wrong. He ain't loyal. So y'all should know.
Don't get caught up.
Don't get caught up. Listen, Florida's having elections in 2022. Baby Trump thinking about trying. She thinks she's gonna try to run over here. We need to let her know that she's not welcome. So y'all get on that. Because she said it. That's what she's gonna do.
Because you said don't make it so.
Out, y'all. Happy Black History Month. Black History 24/7, 365.
Yes.
All right.
My nails not dead. I might have to go on, this Black website, and try to get them done. But I'm scared of that Rona still.
Listen, me too. All right. So we'll talk to you guys next week.
Okay. Good night.
Night. Peace out.